I don't even know if I turned it on. I can't see it. Is it on? Is that on? Yeah. Oh, it's on. It's for sure now. So another pill. 2 or 3 years later, because these progressive diseases don't get any better, you get another pill. And pretty soon you're on, and you need, in Canada, I don't know what you call it. Back home we call it a pill box. It's an organizer to tell you which pill to take. And so the box, now you got to get a bigger box. And finally, it's a slow descent, a painful disease, disability, and death curve until you go into the grave. And they bury your pill box with you. That's how it works in America. Yeah. Now, when I went to because I'm starting on time, so I'll be done by 8:15. When I had hernia surgery. And I went to you go through you ever had surgery, you go through certain things, you know, the anesthesiologist, you sit with the surgeon, all these things. I went to the evaluation of my physical needs and things. She asked me like 300 questions. Are you depressed? No. What kind of medications you're on? None. No, 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 none, no, no. She said, you set a record. I've never had anybody in here in and out in 3 minutes or whatever. I do not want to take that journey that ends up in a painful, long, suffering death. How about you? So tonight, what we're going to study is we're going to trace that pattern, and I'm going to use heart disease to do it. So there we go. Atherosclerosis. That's a picture of it, right? In the books, you'll see severe enough to cause, Lord, give me grace tonight. Help me to be a nice man. Help me to be a nice man. Sister Arlene, I'm a nice man. I'm a nice guy, right? Okay, all right. So Daniel, I'm a nice guy, right? I won't ask Carlos. Is severe enough to cause symptoms, carries a high risk of stroke. My dear friends, they call it the silent killer because you rarely get symptoms. And 52% of the time, you have a heart attack and die, and it's fatal. More than half the time, they never see tomorrow. In other words, they don't know what hit them. That's atherosclerosis. Now, when you see pictures like that, it said, this is like nursing lingo here, plaque buildup. But they don't tell you what plaque is. What is plaque anyway? Now, because of the YouTube thing, you got quick interaction. That's okay. So, what is plaque? The buildup of fat, calcium, fibrin, saturated fat generally, and cholesterol. That's what it is. Where did it come from? Well, we're going to study it in a different way. Social environment. Remember, when we started out, this is the mind-body connection, and it's right out of the science books. Social environment is a factor in what? Diet-induced? You mean I got atherosclerosis, and it came from the food I ate? Yeah, this is the research project. So what they did, took some rabbits. Now I'm going to blow it up so you can read it. I'm sorry. This is an abstract of the abstract. If you read it, rabbits... Several diet were individuals, they were petted, held, talked to, played with on a regular basis. They induced atherosclerosis. They were kind to the rabbits, and this is an abstract of the abstract, written by Dr. Wes Youngberg. As you might expect, the high-fat, high-cholesterol diet contributed to plaque formation and heart disease in many of the rabbits. But, amazingly, the rabbits that had been loved and petted actually had a 60% less plaque buildup in their arteries than the rabbits that had not been petted and loved and sweet-talked. Go figure that. Now, the question is, I wonder if you can apply that to humans. Okay? You think so? Miss Arlene, you really think so? Yes. Now, we're going to do some spiritual algebra. Now, Romans 10:17, faith comes by hearing, hearing by the word of God. Doubt comes by hearing, hearing by the word of me. I would say men. Adversary, I'll buy either one. So if kindness and gentleness and warmth and loving and petting can help somebody to reverse heart disease as a part, but you need the whole package, then what would hardness, and meanness and discouragement and unkind words do to them. Well, yeah, you kill them with the word. I'm just trying to do, heart disease and depression go hand in hand. Well, what do you know? People who are depressed are more likely to develop heart disease. I can put all the studies in here because I don't have time. Go check it out. Fact check it. The good news is that treating depression may help improve both your mental and physical health. Now, what kind of words does a man need that is down and depressed? Nothing's going right. I feel like a wreck. I'm a lousy husband. I'm a no good for nothing. I lost my job, got my pink slip, failed the test. I'm going to hell. What kind of words do I need to hear? Thank you. Thank you. Right? Pretty simple. So I'm using hypertension for the disease, disability, and death curve and putting in the mind-body connection. They call it the silent killer because, didn't know I had, that's it. It's all over. Didn't even know I had a problem. Now, systolic. Your heart, of course, contracts. At the maximum pressure in your blood vessel, that's your systolic. Between the beats, it relaxes. And that's the diastolic. Okay. Now, if you have hypertension, they're really, in a sense, the relaxation, you still have constriction. And there's no rest for the blood vessels, in a sense. I got this from our playbook. MH, 271. The circulation of the blood in order to have good health. I'm sorry, that was a title. In order to have, thank you for helping me out there. In order to have good health, we must have good blood. For the blood is the current of life. It repairs waste and nourishes the body. The more perfect the circulation, the better will this work be accomplished. The reason I open the windows, dear friends, when you have cellular respiration, the cell, after the mitochondria cooks down the glucose and the oxygen, produces, among other waste products, carbon dioxide. Through the bloodstream, you breathe it out. If I don't open those windows, I'm breathing my cellular waste. That's no good. Now, this one I show about all the time, right? Men thinking, danger, danger. The devil says what? Stop thinking. God says what? Think. Why hypertension? You go down to the mall, you get your blood pressure checked for free. I got to use U.S. numbers. I'm sorry, I don't know Canadian numbers. 220 over 140. The man that took your blood pressure, what does he tell you to do? He looks at it, 220 over 140, he says, go where? When? How fast? Now. Because you're a walking stroke. You're a heart attack waiting to happen. You're about to have cardiac arrest. Your coronary arteries are blocked up. Something ain't right. So you get down to the emergency room and you see an allopathic doctor. You got naturopath, allopath, osteopath, homeopath. Allopath is the way they practice traditional medicine at any given place and time. And an allopath, standard, normal, traditional allopathic doctor, looks at all the signs, and what does he do for you? Gives you a pill. Got my first pill, 31 years old, got my first pill. That's the first pill, remember? First pill. Don't need a pill box, I only got one. Well, hold on. Don't give your mom's pill box away yet. Lord have mercy. Now, risk factors. Now, this is secular, but they see it. A few beers every night, smoking like a chimney, got a lot of stress from work, you don't exercise. Well, the genetic inheritance we deal with in the morning if you come. Sodium, high salt diet, getting old, that's bogus. That's bogus. Age, mark that one out. I'm old, I don't have hypertension. Obesity, caffeine, let's add another one in. And the foods you eat. These are risk factors. If you smoke, if you drink, if you don't exercise, if you go to, these are all risk factors. You eat Big Macs 3 times a day? That just means that you're at risk if you're doing those things. That's all it means. I showed this the second night, the first night. I'm going to go through it very fast because now I got my pill, right? It's a calcium channel blocker, right? A WebMD. If you've been diagnosed, because some weren't here that first night, if you've been diagnosed with hypertension, high hypertension, that's kind of a redundant, high hypertension, it's likely that you and your doctor have discussed, and I got this 3 days ago off WebMD. It's likely you and your doctor have discussed a plan to lower your blood pressure. For most people, medication is a major part of that plan. High blood pressure, now I've been doing this for 30 years. People for almost 3 decades, they come to our program. What do you got there? Beta blocker, diuretic, calcium channel blocker. Doctor give that to you? Yeah. When he had his conference to talk about drug medication, did he say anything about smoking and drinking and weight and all those risk factors? No. Some doctors do. I'm not saying none of them do, but I'm saying for the most part, for most people, medication is a major part of the plan. High blood pressure drugs are also called antihypertensive medicine. Your doctor has many different high blood pressure drugs to choose from. And there are a host of drugs. These medications work in a variety of ways to lower blood pressure. Remember that they do not... I'm not going to fix you. Here, you take the pill. I'm not going to fix you. You just take the pill. Yeah. I heard a physician say blood pressure is the bread and butter of the medical fraternity. Yeah. Rather, the goal of high blood pressure medicine is to, I didn't change a word of this, to control your blood pressure, bringing it down to a safe level. Dear friends, what's a safe level for hypertension? I mean, what's a safe level? Calcium channel blocker. Read this the other day. This is an intravenous calcium blocker. You got some problem taking oral medications. The blood flows easily because the arteries can't constrict. That's what a calcium blocker does. It blocks the calcium going into the walls of the arteries, called the endothelium. These are the side effects. Already went through them, right? Page after page after page, and I highlighted those because I thought those were interesting. Your heart will stop beeping, and you'll vomit blood that looks like coffee grounds. Now, look, I read that. Most people, either they don't read it, or they read it and do what with the pill? Take it anyway. Because my doctor said this is safe. My doctor said. Then on your tombstone, his doctor said. Now, I mentioned this, but I want to show you the picture. Here you have two nerve cells, two neurons. You have the long fibers axon, short fibers dendrites. You have transmission going through this axon. The axon is coated with a myelin sheath that expedites transmission down through the axon, received by the dendrite as it crosses a synapse via neurotransmitters. Now you got hypertension. Neil Nedley's book. I think I put a picture up. Did I put a picture? No, I didn't. Neil Nedley's book has got a real nice section on this, that when you're hypertensive, it damages your dendrites. Now I take this pill I got from the doctor, blood pressure goes down to almost normal. Am I still damaging my dendrites? Answer is yes, because a pill will not stop the problem. It will treat the symptom. You can't fix the problem if you don't address the issue, the cause. You can't. So now I have my one pill. I'm doing okay. But, because the problem wasn't addressed, the plaque continued to build up. And my doctor says, we got to go to step 2, which means pill 2. Yeah, pretty simple. Lipitor, a class of drugs called statin drugs. At a store, there's dozens of statin drugs. All right, doctor, what is this statin drug thing? Treatment with statins in elderly patients. I just took something from it. I went to the doctor last time. No, not last time. 4 years ago, my primary care physician told me I'm going to put you on statins. I said, why? He said, because I'd never heard this before, but this is current medicine. It's called the 10-year risk factor. That at 65, if you start taking statin drugs, your chance of a heart attack goes down considerably. And I said, well, doctor, I'd like to hedge my bet with a good lifestyle. What's that? Yeah, I think I'll do it a different way. But now I got pill 2. The most efficient treatment against atherosclerosis is the treatment with statins. They decrease the risk both of stroke and coronary artery disease in all ages at the age of 65 years old. And I was 65. Life expectancy is estimated to be more than 20 years in women and more than 17 years in men. Made possible by what? The statin drugs. Statins are a class of medicines that are used to lower blood cholesterol levels. I wonder how they do that. They do this by blocking the action of an enzyme in the liver that is necessary for making cholesterol. Now, you let me reason with you for just a moment. You make cholesterol, you got to have it, cell membranes. There's a dozen things you have to have cholesterol for. Your body makes all that you need. How can my cholesterol get high? My body's not going to make more than it needs. Then how does it go up? The food causes it to go up. It's called dietary intake of cholesterol. Now you're getting cholesterol from your food. And if you get cholesterol from your food and your body makes it, now you have too much. It's very simple. Now, side effects of statins. Doctor didn't tell me this. No, he didn't tell me. He didn't mention any of this. I'm just going to point out a couple. Hepatotoxicity. That means it's destroying your liver. Myopathy is a breakdown of muscle tissues. It's a breakdown in the disintegration of your muscles and connective tissue. GI upset, well, there's a whole lot of parts from your GI down to your mouth, down to your anus, and there are a whole lot of things in between. You got the small intestine, the large intestine, the stomach, the esophagus, pyloric sphincter. And can it cause some complications? Can it cause some, if you have diverticulosis, diverticulitis, you got hemorrhoids, you got acid reflux, you got heartburn, you got an ulcer, you got esophageal cancer, you got, I'm just saying this is what they say. GI issues, whatever they are. Cataracts. Rhabdomyolysis, now that one I'll get to in a second. Increased risk of diabetes. Doc, diabetic, you gave me a hypertensive pill that's going to make me more prone to be diabetic. Well, let me switch the pill. I don't mean to be, I'm a nice guy. Lord help me. What is it, right? Most people can't pronounce it. Rhabdomyolysis. That's it. Rhabdomyolysis. I should have practiced that before I came. It's a condition that causes your muscles to break down, disintegrate, which leads to muscle death. Now, the neurological effects, I blew it up so you could read it. It may cause memory loss or amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, also known as Lou Gehrig's disease, which is outright, absolutely fatal. It'll kill you over time. Lou Gehrig's disease. Now I got my third pill. Statin side effects, weigh the benefits and the risks. Now this is interesting. I'm going to test you on something now. I'll read it and ask you a question. Statins work by slowing the production of cholesterol, right? It hampers liver enzymic action. Your body produces all the cholesterol it needs by digesting food and producing new cells on its own. When this natural production is slowed, what you make, when it is slowed down, your body begins to draw the cholesterol it needs from that food you're eating. So you can either take the statin drugs or you can eat food that has no cholesterol. Then you're good to go. But then I got to give up my pills. No. I don't have a box yet, right? Now, you have, because you did not address the cause, you have continual buildup of plaque in these going into the crown of the heart, the coronary arteries. By the way, and you may not believe me, fact check it. All blockages are systemic. You have it in one place, you have it everywhere. And why are they going to talk about heart attacks? Because this is what kills you first. You know, they're everywhere. Well, I'm going to give you a stent. You say, well, that's not a drug. Your friends, the next step in the journey downward comes with a whole lot of different drugs. Everything from blood thinners to a lot of things are coming. Perfect health depends upon perfect circulation. So once they put this in, of course, you know, you hear about cath lab, you know, whenever they catheterize, they're putting, cath lab does that. My brother-in-law works in one. They replace heart valves, put stents in, do all kinds of things in the cath lab. That is a metal sleeve that's put in with a catheter somewhere, wherever it starts out the journey, and it goes up to the blockage. The surgeon manipulates it, it opens up, and that is part of you until the day you die. It will never come out of you. What's it doing? It's taking all that fat and cholesterol and doing what? Yeah, ramming it into the sides. Yeah, it's ramming it into the sides. What it's doing. Angioplasty with stent placement. That's what it looks like when it's fully expanded. On the far right, that's what it appears to be. Okay? Pretty simple. Cost effectiveness analysis of stents. Now I got this because I saw a lady one time. She was a family practitioner or something. She said, listen, if I counsel you about lifestyle issues, I got to spend a little bit of time with you. I got to talk to you just a little bit of time with you. So I spend 20 minutes, talk about some lifestyle issues, give you some changes you can make to improve your health. There's 20 minutes spent. On 20 minutes, I can give you a stent and make, now remember, U.S.-Canada exchange, what I'm showing you is U.S. dollars. I can cost effectiveness analysis of stents, and I can make $33,000. She said, you tell me, I get $15 from you 20 minutes, or I get $33,000 15, 20 minutes? What am I going to do? You tell me. What can angioplasty do for you? This is Harvard. You can look in 10,000 places. Everybody knows this, except maybe the man that has the chest pains. Angina usually improves quickly. The effect lasts for a few years, but the benefits stop there. Angioplasty for stable angina does not halt the spread of atherosclerosis and the damage it causes. Why? Because it does not address the cause, the issue. It doesn't, in other words, angioplasty does nothing. 33,000, doctor doing 3 procedures a day for 6 hours, 33 times 3 times 6, 18 times 33,000. What does it do? Nothing. Never has, never will. And everybody says it. I don't know anybody, University of Michigan, Clemson, USC, everybody says this. It doesn't reduce the chances of having a future heart attack or improve survival. For these, you want some help? For these long-term benefits, you need aggressive medical therapy, heart-protecting drugs, and it does say lifestyle intervention. Heart-protecting drugs? Pill box now, what? I got 7. I got 7. And I'm only 47 years old. 47, 7 drugs. Now I got to think about buying a pill box because I'm confused what I take when. I got a sea of pills. Take the blue one on Monday, the red one, no, is the red one on Monday or Tuesday? My mom had a pill box that big. I'll tell you what's scary. I'm looking good on the clock. I'll tell you how I got scared. I was at Wildwood Hospital. My first position in the administration, I was the human resources director. This is really interesting, right? Coming out of the bar and the jail, going out the human resources director in a missionary institution. And a lady called me, and her husband's name was Mr. Tipton. This was almost 30 years ago. She said, I would like somebody, because it was a missionary institution, I'd like someone to come sit with my husband. He's having a procedure in the hospital. No, nobody don't come. I said, ma'am, I don't think we have anybody. I'll go. She, would you? I said, I'll go. So I went down. He had a triple bypass. We'll get to that in a minute. Triple bypass. They rolled him, went into recovery, and he finally got into the room. And that's when I came, when he was out of, I came in, I sat down, I looked at him. He hobbled to the bathroom. The door, there's a crack in the bathroom door. Smoke was billowing out from under the door. And then they gave him a meal. I kid you not. Ham sandwich and strawberry shortcake. Yeah. Now, I was at Wildwood by now. I knew what that plate was. And then he went home. And dear friends, he had a pillbox. His wife called me. She said he enjoyed your company. Would you come and stay with him another night at home? I went, and when he left the hospital, he had about 8. Didn't improve. Next time I went back, the second time at home, he had about 12. Next time I went back, more medications. Next time I went back, it's the funeral. The man's dead. But he knew the blue one you take on Monday. Right? Heart bypass. Well, the plaque keeps building up. I got the stents, but it didn't seem to do much. I got chest pain. Angioplasty didn't seem to do much. What's next? Number one, get a bigger pillbox. Right? It's time for some serious action. Statin, stents, hypertension medications, calcium channel blockers. Now we're going to pull the big guns out. When you go in for open heart surgery and the surgeon begins to cut, what's the first thing he cuts? He cuts in most cases, your calf. Wonder why? My dear friends, you have a bypass around Toronto? Is there any kind of highway you can get to bypass Toronto? Bypass in Atlanta, you got the bypass. You want to avoid the traffic, right? The bypass, you just bypass Toronto. We got a blockage here in your coronary artery. You need to bypass it. So you cut a vein out of your leg, attach it on one side, around the other, you got a bypass in your heart. Heart bypass. You may need heart bypass surgery. When the plaque, there's that word again, the plaque, which is a material in the blood, they will not say what it is. I challenge you to find some place that says what it is. It's a material in the blood. It builds up on the walls of the arteries. There's less blood flow to the heart muscle, and it is more likely to tire and fail. Why? Plaque build up. What's it doing? Well, there's some reason it's sticking to the artery walls. They never mention LDL, never mention hardly anything in these things I'm reading. Heart bypass, the process, heart bypass surgery, also known as coronary artery bypass surgery, attempts to replace damaged arteries in the heart. Somebody will probably think I sound like a raving lunatic tonight. And then they'll go get a bypass and think they got something good. Remember what the captain of the ship told Jonah? Awake, thou sleeper. I had to wake up. Nothing like old age to wake you up. Attempts to replace damaged arteries in the heart. A surgeon uses blood vessels from another area of the body to repair the damaged arteries. And of course, in this illustration, they use vein coming out of the calf. Now, I just wanted to throw this in. All blockages are systemic. If you have blockages going to your heart, you got blockages going to your brain. If your brain does not get sufficient oxygen, first of all, if you have a stroke, motor cortex, right, ischemic stroke, lack of oxygen deprivation, you got tissue death in the motor cortex now. I got limited range of motion. I got partial paralysis on my left side. Why? Kentucky Fried Chicken. I'm sorry. Yeah, remember last night? Dementia, early onset, Alzheimer's, all those things. Well, if you can't get blood flow to the brain, that's what they're saying in that British Medical Journal article. They're saying, we think it's a buildup of plaque in the coronary arteries, perhaps. It's like, I feel like I'm in a nightmare here. I feel like I'm in a nightmare. Well, you have graduated from the pill bottle up to the table. And when you leave the table, I was on a flight, because all these memories are coming back of all these things. I was on a flight going to Amsterdam. I got on the plane, sat down, a man came on, he was on the plane, came in there, putting his bag up in the thing on top, cut his finger. He said, "Oh, no." I said, "Blood thinners." He said, "That's right. When you leave there, you take heparin, a blood thinner in your pocket." You know how long the side effect listed on a blood thinner is? It's longer than that calcium channel blocker. He said, "Man, I'm in trouble." I said, "Yeah, you need to ask that stewardess for a Band-Aid." He started to bleed. Now, why the blood thinner? Well, you bleed like water, but it keeps the bypass from blocking. Right? It's got to be nice and fluid and flow. So this is what they do. You know, and it's interesting too. God in his wisdom put the heart behind the rib cage to protect it. And so the doctor has to get to your heart to do surgery. So he brings out his, we men know what a circular saw is, don't we? Bzzz, high RPM circular saw. It makes that Milwaukee or that DeWalt look like child's play. Bzzz, I'm sorry. I'm not going to show a video of this. And he saws your rib cage from bottom all the way to the top. And then he has a special instrument. He's got to retract those ribs and pull them apart. And when he puts it back together, in the olden days, he used to wire it together like with baling wire. Mercy. That's not even describing the surgery. That's just getting in and out. Give me a pill. Lord have mercy. And that's what it looks like. Now, I showed this video. I'm going to show it again. Some of you weren't here. I meant to say before I showed that, how old are people that are getting heart bypasses today? Hope you're going to say 12, 13 years old, 14 years old. That's right. McDonald's on every corner. I was in Jamaica. Man called me, a brother from Jamaica. I've been there a lot, got a lot of friends there. I worked in Mandeville, Northern Conference, in Montego Bay, held evangelistic meetings, and in Kingston, Emancipation Park, been all over. And a brother called me. He said, "You Americans are sending down your junk food down here to Jamaica, and you're killing us all." I said, "Is that right?" He said, "Yeah, you're opening up a place right on the corner, and you're killing us Jamaicans." Oh, is that right? Who in the world forced you to go in there and eat? Yeah, that's right. You got to, tomorrow morning, you got to take responsibility, and you got to quit passing the buck. And I told him, I said, "We send you American food, but we don't make you eat it." Now, at our church, Waynesboro Church, I serve as the first elder in that church. I'm not the pastor. I'm not a pastor. Man coming, Catholic man, beautiful Christian man, coming to our service visiting us. He worked at Krispy Kreme Donuts. Yeah, bought a little pack of donuts into the fellowship meal. Next time he had a big old tray like that into the fellowship meal. The church members coming to me saying, "You got to do something about them donuts." What's my answer? To those church members. Yeah. If you, the church members, quit cleaning out the box when he brings it, because you clean out one box, now he brings two. Don't blame him. That's it. Oh, I'm well loved in our church. A high-fat diet can directly result in too much fat in the blood. Now, I showed this video, but I didn't show the centrifuge, because when they take your blood, phlebotomy, and you get all these lab tests, they take the blood out of your thing to test it, and then they spin it in the centrifuge, and it separates into certain layers. Right? Cloudy blood explains. You should be able to see right through it. And he was serving as the anesthesiologist. His name is Dr. Alan Clapper. He's a lifestyle guy. He's talking about cloudy blood in the blood tube in surgery. And here is the, I may have to click it. We got some volume, right? All right, hear me. Nope. Can you click on it at the bottom? Oh, no. It's not moving. Oh, no. Well, maybe it's for the best. I showed it once already. It's open heart surgery. It's kind of gross, but it makes the point. Because the surgeon pulls out a string of atherosclerosis this long. Yeah, you saw that. Yeah, you already saw it. Yeah, you already saw it. And then as he pulls it out, as he extracts it, he says, #1 leading cause of death, right there. And it is. In America, 600,000 people dying every year. We knew it since 1990. Hard scientific evidence that you could reverse it, put a halt to it. That's 20 million people have gone into the grave needlessly. There's one of them that almost did, Bill Clinton. You may not know the story, but Bill Clinton went through the progression, or should I say what's the opposite of progress? Decline. And he was a Rhodes Scholar. He was a smart guy. Bill's bum ticker. Why did Bill Clinton need bypass surgery? There's the question, there's the answer. Yeah. Now, remember, Bill Clinton's a smart guy. So he went through the process. It ended, culminated in open heart surgery. Problem is the bypass failed, as they often do. And I'm not going to play the whole thing, but if you want to see it, Bill Clinton, Wolf Blitzer, CNN, type it on YouTube. You can watch the whole interview with Dean Ornish, Caldwell Esselstyn, and Bill Campbell and Wolf Blitzer. It's fascinating, but I'll play you the first few seconds of it.
When I sat down with former President Bill Clinton this week in New York City at the Clinton Global Initiative, we spoke about the U.S. economy, the election, world affairs. But the part of the interview that grabbed so much attention was about his dramatic weight loss and the diet that helped him shed 24 pounds.
Now, wait a second here. What did Bill Clinton do? That was no North Korea crisis? Don't tell me about that. You know, nuclear proliferation all over Russia? Don't tell me about that. We want to know how that man lost 20 pounds. Got into the suit he wore in high school. What happened to that man who was on death's doorstep? Now he's raring to go. What happened to the guy? Bill Clinton was smart. If you don't know the story, but the way he knew it, he was the president. He could call and get an answer from Dean Ornish, right? He called up these guys that were doing this research. Dean Ornish, because Dean Ornish is on the interview. And Caldwell Esselstyn, T. Colin Campbell, China Study, he called the guys. He said, they're killing me. I'm dying. What? Wolf Blitzer, CNN, Bill Clinton. That's all you got to put in. Watch the whole interview. You say, I'm not. And they said, now these have got our message, except the trust in God. They got the message. They told Bill Clinton, you need to, just eat, get a little exercise, da-da-da-da. And Bill Clinton said, smart guy. He said, I'm going to do it. And he made the papers. Talking about, well, he eats whole food, plant-based, and this, that, and the other, and he's feeling healthy as a horse, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, the guy, the mayor of New York City, who was a bad diabetic, I know the people that gave him the message, the Adventists that gave him the message. He got on the plan, and that man now is an advertisement for Seventh-day Adventist health message. He's not a Seventh-day Adventist, but he's got the message. He's diabetic, healthy as a horse, running the streets of New York. May run for election again. I don't know. He's running, though. And then I was at I know I'm stringing a lot of things together, but it rounds out the picture. I was doing meetings in New York City, September 3 years ago, and I showed that picture, but the guy, the pastor, was not there. He came in, and on my laptop, right, he came in, he said, I hear you talking about heart disease. And I said, yeah. I'm talking to this pastor, the back of the tent. He said, I've just been told I need double bypass surgery or something. And I got all these health issues. I got a pill box and this, that, and the other. I said, well, you might want to change your lifestyle. Again, that sounds so simple. It sounds so. I said, and you can, in many cases, most cases, you can reverse the blockages. So you want to see a picture? Yes, there it is. 80% blocked, ready for a heart attack. In 1 year, 45% blocked. 2020, 0. And I think that, and these angiograms, echocardiograms are in Esselstyn's book. I buy that book and I give it out to people that have heart issues. Because all the pictures are there. Yeah. He looked at it. But my doctor said, I got a pill box here. Who gave it to you? My doctor. My doctor said, I got a doctor, his name's Christ, right? Exodus 15:26. If you will hearken unto my voice and do as I say, I'll put none of these diseases I put upon the Egyptians. I am the Lord, the God that healed thee. He's my good doctor. Now I want to be scientific. I want to be careful. I don't want to be, what's the opposite of faith? Presumptuous. But dear friends, this is the plan. How many hoops do I have to jump through? You just got to eat a carrot and take a walk. But my doctor said, you know what that is? Okay, Robin Williams. You know who the guy sitting down is? David Letterman. They had something in common. David Letterman had just been cut from top to bottom, first time back on the show. Robin Williams was due for open heart surgery. A very short part. So when he starts doing this stuff about all this, now you know what the jokes are he's making, right? About the open heart surgery, David Letterman.
For those of you playing the home game, I mean, I haven't had any
closed captioning.
David's
now,
back.
closed captioning.
In May, I'm having.
David's back.
Here it is.
David back. No, they didn't do. Can I take this off now? I think
Yes.
after a while I feel like I'm going to jump into a pool.
Take it off so people know that it's actually you.
It's actually me.
Yeah.
Dressed like this is actually how I dress at home.
Now, Dean Ornish, who gave it to Bill Clinton, among 2 or 3 others, he had a comment about people laughing at jokes like that. Remember I read that to you the first night I showed that? Established all this scientific foundation for the belief that you could stop, halt, and reverse heart disease. This is his comment. Eating a vegetarian diet, walking every day, and meditating is considered radical. Allowing someone to slice your chest open and graft your leg veins into your heart is considered normal and conservative. Need I say more? Think. Yeah, think. Because as a man thinketh, Proverbs 23:7, so he is. Philippians 2:5, let this mind be in you, the same mind that was in Christ Jesus. I think. I don't want a pillbox. Now remember, there it is, right? Got a real blockage there. Atherosclerosis. Pretty simple. Now, this is in Neil Nedley's book. It's old as the hills. He's working with depressed people. Now we're going to try to tie it all together by God's grace, working with depressed people. And he noticed something as he began to study and work with these individuals. This is what he saw from his book, Proof Positive. Neil Nedley's an Adventist physician. Don't know. Probably the most famous one now. Sophisticated brain scans reveal that depressed patients may have a 60% reduction in frontal lobe blood flow. Now pause. I'm not going to let you see the rest. Here's these depressed people, debilitating depression, can't function. 60% drop in circulation. I bet I could help them with their depression if I, boom, increase circulation. That's what Nedley thought. In working with depressed patients, there's evidence that if you can enhance the activity of their frontal lobe, blood flow to that area will increase. How do you increase the blood flow? You get this thing in gear. Rather than kill it, you stimulate it. What kills it? Well, let me ask you. I was in the GC, not this last one, the one that was 20 years ago. I got on a bus to go to the meetings. Guy came on. He sat down, began rapping. Tell you what he said. I'm going to town, I'm going to town, I'm going to town, I'm going to town, I'm going to town. Brain's dying, brain's dying, brain's dying. I'm going to town. You know, that kind of thing kills your brain, doesn't it? Right? Doesn't it? Yeah. There are a lot of things that, here's the, 6-pack of beer. Why not have 6? Why not have 12? Will that kill your brain? There are all the risk factors are things that kill your brain. Will pornography kill your brain? Oh, yes. Blood flow to that area will be increased. But then you tell me what gives life to the frontal lobe. What gives life? Okay? All right. Those are the physical factors, right? God's Word. And what you think about. What you think about. Okay? What am I thinking about tonight? I'll tell you what I'm thinking about. I was thinking about, to be honest, I was thinking about the food at her house. That was brain food. For breakfast, I'm having one of those big old figs if she'll allow me to. Is that okay to think about that? I say thank God for that food, right? You walk out in nature, I take walks in nature, I say the master artist must have made this thing, right? Right? It's just what do you put into your mind? It will either depress or, sure. Now, here's who's that? Yeah, President Biden. Of course, now he's got prostate cancer, got all kinds of health issues. I want to show you what he eats, among other things. But I got pictures. See if I want to show you what they served him on Air Force One. This is a diet served the president. They do not publish it, but the press corps, they write about it. So you can read U.S. News World Report. The reporter, they feed the press corps the same thing the president eats. This is what he eats. Pretty good, huh? What about that? Nice breakfast, isn't it? Yeah. What do you say? Pretty good breakfast. Well, what about lunch? What are we having for lunch? Burger and fries. But it's the presidential seal on the plate. Yeah, burger and fries. Chocolate mousse. Now, what does it do to those red blood cells? Now, the red blood cell, if you don't know, the red blood cell, kind of concave, shaped like that, it transports oxygen with a little protein called a hemoglobin. Loads up the oxygen, goes down through the body. You know how many of those you have in your body? A lot? I think it's 30 trillion. I got the figure here, 1 second. But if you ever thought of, by the way, a bit of trivia. Veins are not blue, they're a dull red. When the hemoglobin dumps off the oxygen, it doesn't turn blue because there's no oxygen. What makes blood red is the hemoglobin is laced with iron. This is why the blood is red. But they draw it for pictures blue. But those are called capillaries. And as you take a closer look, they get narrower and narrower. Precapillary sphincters, they narrow down. In order for those red blood cells to go through the capillaries, you got 30 trillion. In order to go through the capillaries, they got to line up and do what? Go one by one. Part of the release mechanism for the oxygen is the pressure put on there by the capillary walls. We call that microcirculation. Now you tell me, let's spin this around once or twice. You tell me, what's a couple of cheeseburgers and a French fry do to that? I showed that picture. See the picture on the right? It says 64,000 red blood cells sitting on the head of a pin. A nurse was in the audience. She said, "How do you know? Did you count them?" There's a rebel in every group. There's a rebel in every group. I didn't count them. Red blood cells take up oxygen in the lungs, then release it while squeezing through the body's capillaries. You know, when I started finding out these things, I thought, we are fearfully, wonderfully made. Now, I'm not kidding you. Now, of course, that's a staged photo, right? It's a staged photo because if he really smoked that, he'd be dead just before he could finish the cigarettes. Enough benzopyrene to kill 50 men in that many cigarettes. My dear friends, now, I think 2 important points tonight. We got to the first one. Forks Over Knives is a great little video. We show it to all our patients. You've seen it? It's excellent. It's excellent. The problem is, it is loaded with information, but not one lick of motivation. None. As you read about this nice diet, right? And it's a good video. It's a nice diet. Where do you get the power to do it? John 1 verse 12, as the means received him, he gave power. You got no power. You got information. You got no motivation. You got principles, but you got no action. You got no power. Where's the power? And by the way, if you say you like eggs in a hearty, durable, thick burger got about the same amount of cholesterol in each one. Egg is the concentrated time bomb of cholesterol on planet Earth. You want to see about 150 videos on eggs? Michael Greger, nutritionfacts.org, all about eggs. Nothing but randomized control studies. High blood pressure, right? We started out high blood pressure. We ended up where? The morgue. It was a arc, curve, disease, disability, and death. Now I can unload those pills. I don't need them anymore. Now, God's plan. We look at a different perspective, diet and exercise. That's lack of exercise there. Those are men work for Carlos. Now, are those Portuguese men? I don't. That's a steep pitch. That's a 712, right? That's steep. Lack of exercise. By the way, that was me. Did I tell you my story? When I met Darlene, she was a spiritualist, moved out to the country. Her father died, left us some land, got out there. I like to eat 6 banana sandwiches, drink a 12-pack of beer on Sunday. My wife liked to garden. She said, come in and help me in the garden. I'm watching the ball game. I got my sandwich. I came home on Tuesday. She'd taken my TV and thrown it in the trash can. And she said, now you want to come out to the garden? Yeah. It took me a while to love it. It took me a while to love soy milk rather than beer. It took me a while to hate pornography. It took me a while. Rome wasn't built. Change does not come overnight. We need some, they that wait upon the Lord, 40:31 of Isaiah, they that wait upon the Lord. We need to wait upon each other. Trying to push a man to act too fast, it won't work. Gym time. What's that mean, gym time? Well, it means go to the gym, spend some time there. Or you could come to my house, work in the garden. Now, wait a minute. Now, if you're wondering, well, you've worked in these health institutions. Did you put those patients to work? You want to see the gym at the place I worked for 22 years? The last place, 22 years there, Butler Creek Health Education Center. You can still see videos. You want to see the program? You want to see the gym? You sure? Need some volume. All right, we got to get some volume. Turn that up a little. This is all right. Here we go. I'm taking I got the camera. Come on, man.
3 shots, buddy. All right.
Come on, man.
3 shots. All right.
That's all you get.
Uno. 1. Dos.
Oh,
Last one shot, man. Last shot. No, you get 2 more. You get 2 more shots for that.
He makes it. Come on, buddy.
Come on, again. Hit it again.
He's following Samuel's techniques and jumping up in the air.
Yeah. Come on.
Here it comes. I hear it. Almost. You got it. 2 more and you'll have it.
Yeah.
1 more. It's not split yet. No, not yet. Higher number.
All right, yeah. Yes. Useful labor. My wife's itching to get that splitter and show that guy how to do it. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. You've seen the videos of my wife, right? You ain't seen nothing yet. I'm going to try to show something tomorrow. The effects of exercise. Oh, you're kidding me, right? The mood pathways are in the front part of the brain. And the neurotransmitters running those mood pathways include norepinephrine, dopamine, serotonin, a host that affect our mood. This is not acetylcholine and butyric acid going to the hand. This is the mood in the brain. Boy, I need to jack up those neurotransmitters in the brain. I got to get those levels up. Uh-oh, another pill. Zoloft, Xanax, Prozac, Wellbutrin. I need a backpack. Or the effects of exercise on serotonin levels. This is coming out of Mayo Clinic. Exercise and stress. Get moving to manage stress. Stress is correlated directly with heart disease. Pet the rabbit, calms him down, reduces dietary cholesterol. It's part of the package. High levels of serotonin are associated with an elevated mood, while low levels are associated with depression. Okay, I'll buy that. Though many neurotransmitters work in harmony to influence mood. Now, we nail down the fact that the serotonin levels are changed by your thinking, your decisions. But it's a reflection of how you're thinking. Serotonin is one of the most important. Its levels are influenced by external factors such as, dear friends, you chose to take a walk, you chose to eat that food, you chose to go out in the sun. Those decisions do something and it raises the serotonin, which reflects the decisions you made. What do you got to do? Take a walk. Now you tell me, if you're a little down and depressed, does it help take a walk? In fact, we don't have time. It's 30 hours long, the mental health classes, 30 hours long. I'll tell you one part though. When you have, we had a patient at Wildwood Hospital. We became friends. He left, called me up one day. I said, Mitch, that you, man? Where are you at? How you doing? Well, I'm in the casino. I'm ready to blow my brains out. Oh, where are you at? The hotel in the casino. What did I tell him? I told him to get out. Because what you hear, see, taste, touch, and smell, 2 Corinthians 3:18, it shapes how you think. You change your environment. And any time you put the arms and legs in action, you engage them, it changes circulation, which changes the firing patterns of the brain. It's so simple. Exercise is a real boost for serotonin. Exercise and depression, what does Harvard say? This is what Harvard said. This is the study. I thought I should throw one in. I'll read it, then ask you a question. Another study published in the Archives of Internal Medicine in 1999 divided, that's what Harvard's doing, it's quoting that study, divided 156 men and women with depression, 3 groups. One group took part in an aerobic exercise program. Another took the drug, Zoloft, SSRI drug, selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor. And a third group did both. At the 16-week mark, depression had eased in all 3 groups. What? About 60 to 70% of the people in all 3 groups could no longer be classed as having major depression. In fact, group scores on 2 rating scales of depression were essentially the same. This suggests that for those who need or wish to avoid drugs, exercise might be an acceptable substitute for antidepressants. You do know, right, that in every antidepressant, I'll show you a picture of it in a second, there's a warning SSRI drugs. This drug may make you blow your brains out. Yeah, I'll show you. I'll read it to you. Now, that's not, it's like, how can that be? Carroll Riff, Wisconsin. There is a science that is emerging that says a positive attitude isn't just a state of mind. She says it also has linkages to what's going on in the brain and in the body. Riff has shown that individuals with higher levels of well-being have lower cardiovascular risk, lower levels of stress hormones, and lower levels of inflammation. Now, how does she know all that? Easy. Did a blood test, C-reactive protein indicates inflammation in the body. She says, boom, here's the science. Which serves as a marker for your immune system. You got lupus, you got fibromyalgia, you got all the type 1 diabetes, all these autoimmune diseases. You mean a little exercise might help me with autoimmune diseases? Yeah. Help me think better? Yeah, pretty simple. Now, what are these guys doing? Walking. Now, I got to be careful what I say now. Lord, help me, help me. If I go, the price, I looked up the price. You pay out of your pocket, not insurance, this is out of your pocket. You go to a psychiatrist. Before he can prescribe, he must first evaluate and see what the problem is. Got to have a diagnosis before you have a prescription. He charges me $400 US dollars to tell me I'm suicidal. Got some bipolar tendencies, a little OCD, and got a little other things going on. Schizophrenia starting to well up here and there. So you need a pill, okay. Say Prozac. You know what Prozac costs? 30-day supply, out of your pocket. I looked it up, $400. I just spent $800. Now you be honest, $800. Now I go to the doctor. This is a lifestyle doctor. He evaluates me, charges me $400, gives me a prescription. I go home, I look at it, it says, take a walk. How do I feel? That's right. That's right. God's plan is fodder for the thieves. Give me that pill. Money well spent. Now, the problem is, oh, come on. Maybe it's, oh, there it is. And it's this here. Antidepressants and suicide, FDA warns. The FDA has warned that children and adults taking antidepressants can become suicidal in the first weeks of therapy, and is asking drug manufacturers to place explicit warnings about the drug side effects, which mean a suicidal tendency. Now, wait. I call up my doctor. I said, Doc, I came to you. You told me I got suicidal tendencies. You gave me a pill. I got home. I read the thing. It said, this may make me more suicidal. No. Now, the serious part. No, serious. Answer the question. And the doctor says to me, what do you want me to do? No, I don't have any other options. Now, answer the question. What do you want him to do? What do you want him to do? Don't tell him to take a walk. That's ripped off. What do you want him? Dear friends, there's nothing else he can do. Nothing else he can do. Is there? Infrared thermography. Now, when you have, in Canada, if you walk outside in Canada buck naked in January, what's the first thing that gets cold? Ears. And your, maybe, fingertips, and maybe your toes, the extremities. Because in the extremities, you have limited circulation. The internal organs are insulated, good circulation to keep them warm. You can lose your fingers, but you can't lose your liver. Now, this is wild. Where'd it go? Okay, now. It converts radiant heat energy into a signal that can be displayed on the monitor. When there is increased circulation and, sorry about that, hanging A, and metabolic activity, what the thermogram takes the picture of is heat. When you have circulation, metabolic activity, you get white and blue. If you get, you get red and orange. If you got not much circulation, you get blue. Ears are blue. So they took a group of students taking the SAT, divided them in half, randomized control trial. And they told one group, you go out and take a walk. You walk for 30 minutes, was it 30 minutes, 20-minute walk before the test. You others sit down, chill out. Then they took the test. Oh, I didn't put that in there. And guess which ones did better? Yeah. I'm going to take the MCAT. Want to go to medical school. I some states, I know what you call it up here. Go on the MCAT, medical college aptitude test. Going to go take the MCAT. It's going to cost me a ton of money. I'm going to be up all night cramming. Well, for me, I'm going down to the trail and walk all night. If you are not exercising when the final test comes, your brain is not going to be beating on all 8 cylinders. You got to have exercise. Isn't that? It's another grains, fruits, nuts, and vegetables. Now, kind of going down. We read this thing a dozen times. This vigor of intellect. Simple, natural, but vigor of intellect. And Jesus said unto them, I'm the bread of the life. Now, what I want to do in this closing 3 or 4 minutes, John 6:63, my words are spirit, my words are life. Jesus, when he said he was the bread, he did not mean he was whole grain bread. True? He was speaking in my words are spirit, a spiritual sense. When Christ speaks, there's always a spiritual connotation, isn't there? I'm the bread that came down from heaven, by the living word from me. Yeah, it's spiritual, right? Now remember, that's what chapter of John? 6. Now look what's sandwiched between those 2 verses when we get to it in a minute. This is my doctor. While with Scott Grievous, while with physician, back then. I did my yearly physical with him. Nice man. I go in, he checked the pulses of my feet, he'd do some of this, that, and the other, and prostate exam, didn't like that part. And then he'd listen to my heart. You ever wonder what he's listening for? When a doctor listens to your heart, do you know what he's listening for? Do you know what he does not want to hear? Yeah, because it makes, it's not quiet. When the blood rushes through those 4 chambers, you got mitral valve regurgitation. You got things happening in there that shouldn't be happening. If you have that, he can hear it. So I had my physical for years. Dr. Grievous, he did this. He put the stethoscope on my heart. He's listening. What are you doing? Shh. What are you doing? Shh. He looked at me. Lou, you got to click. A click. He said, don't worry, we'll keep an eye on it. Well, it could be a lot of things. It could be a lot of things. You could have a whooshing, which means one thing. You could have a click, which means another. But you have synchronization of those valves. They got to open and close at just the right time. You got all kind of different things. Heart murmurs, though. There it is. Jesus, therefore, answered and said unto them, now, dear friends, out of the abundance of the mouth, the heart speaks. Spiritual heart disease is a man that has a mouth and it has a what? Murmur. Now, we end where we started. Remember, I'm down and out. I'm depressed. Wife divorced me. I'm ready to die. I need somebody to come along and do what? Encourage you. Now, remember, I went through this. If you weren't here, I'll do it real fast again. Take 20 seconds. I borrowed 2 cell phones from the audience, put them on ears. Can you listen to 2 calls at the same time? No way. No way. God built you that way. You got 2 ears, but you only got 1 input and brain. Now, what about the eyes? You're going to read 2 books at the same time? Impossible. Dear friends, you cannot speak 2 languages at the same time. The language of love, the language of hate, they are mutually exclusive. You can't speak them at the same time. Either you're speaking words of what? Comfort, encouragement, or condemnation and murmuring. And then you got to murmur not here, but there. Spiritual heart disease. Everything that Jesus said had a spiritual connotation, John 6:63. Our murmuring is the devil's music. So I'm coming here and I'm not saying anything bad about my wife, number one, because there is nothing bad. I got to, this is the way it is. Brother Eddie, that's just the way it is. But if there were something, now let me use me instead. Here's my wife, right here. Here she comes. Now I'm a mess. My wife knows me inside and out. I'll tell you I'm a mess. I'm a mess. I got all kind of problems. I got all things need changed. Darlene will stand here. You know what she will say? He's the perfect husband. I look at her, I think, what's wrong with her? She's breaking the 9th commandment. Thou shalt not bear false witness. If I had a fault, you tell me now, who's Darlene going to tell? Is that, now my brother, if you had a wife like that, I hope you, is that security, stability, permanence? Will that help you with your coronary blockages? Yes, there it is. Philippians 4:4, rejoice in the Lord what? And again I say what? Rejoice. 1 Thessalonians 5:18, in everything give thanks, for this is the will of God, Christ Jesus concerning you. Yeah, just pouring out the encouragement. The man that is down and out needs to be lifted up. Acts 3, verse now. I end with this, medical evangelism. I think that's all I got, right? Yeah. Medical evangelism. This is our subject this week. Peter, right? I'll bet nobody knows this verse. It's verse 7. I'm going to get verse 6. We'll take a couple questions. Verse 3, verse 6. The guy out there never walked a step in his life, sitting there, I'm down and out, right? Can't walk. That's worse than being a pink slip, right? That's worse than having a car that won't start. He's there, never walked in his life. Peter and John walk by. He gives him the eye. He wants some alms. Peter eyeballs him. The man says, oh yeah, I'm going to get something, right? Did he get something? Yes. Silver and gold have I none, but what I have I give unto you in the name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth. Rise up and walk. Anybody know verse 7? 4 words. That's what he told him. Now verse 7, 4 words. Peter, you can check the Bible, 3:7 of Acts. Peter lifted him up. Boom. Did he need that? Dear friends, we need that in the church, don't we? We need to, here's a brother right here. I need to lift him up, not tear him down. I don't need to murmur about you. I need to throw some encouragement your way. Will that help him mentally, physically, spiritually, socially, or emotionally, or environmentally? All the above. Wow. Any questions? We went from the pill box we went all over the place tonight. Sorry. No questions? All right. We'll just take 3 or 4 minutes.
You said bypasses would fail.
Yeah.
Because
It means that the bypass clog, read it. Do bypasses fail? Yeah, they're temporary, good for 10 to 20 years, because the buildup bypasses the bypass and begins to build up inside the battery. But fact check me. Brother Eddie, don't believe anything I say. Look up failed bypasses, what happens?
So is that because they didn't change their lifestyle?
Yeah.
Okay, because I'm just wondering, if someone has
yes.
a bypass and they change their lifestyle,
No
their diet, they shouldn't get any more buildups, right?
Right.
Okay, and the bypass itself is structurally sound.
Yeah. I guess it is, yeah. But yeah, if you address the problem,
Right.
and if you do it in a bypass, let's say it's me, I got a bypass, right? I should have done it with the stent. No, I should have done it with the stent. No, I should have done it at the beginning. Save myself a whole lot of heartache.
Right.
And I'll tell you something as I end. I got one more blessing to share, that woman right there. If you don't know her, her name is Anita. And I tell you, I gave something similar to this in the Berry Church. I think her assignment that night was the closing prayer, I think, because that gives me an aspect to bring out that I forgot to say anything about. So this woman got up. I'm sitting there. I sit down. She gets up and does closing prayer. I'm sitting there, okay, ready to go home. She got up and the Holy Ghost took hold of that woman. And this is the way I saw it. You may not see it the same way. She talked about her husband and how he had passed through what I just described. And she gave an insight into something I had never in my life thought about. That when you make wrong choices, when you are sick and suffering, it impacts not just you, but what? She had to take care of him, wait on him hand and foot for I don't know how long. It's a burden on her. If I make wrong choices, I can't help my wife anymore. It's a double burden. She pays the price for me breaking the health laws. I never thought about that in my life, my dear sister. That was an encouragement. Made a little documentary. I put her thing in there, sharing it. It's on the video. And it was powerful. Whoa. But the church was just moved. That was not planned. Oh, yeah. And that kind of gave me the wake-up call. I got to be in good shape, not just for me, but for my wife. Anybody else?
Anybody online?
Anybody online? My dear sister?
No hands, okay.
I think I just have 2 comments. The first comment is about, the holistic approach, where I notice that a lot of people will take on the new dietary lifestyle, but exercise seems to be the one that kind of falls short. And I find that especially in, our faith community. And it's something I'm hoping will change, because we do a lot of, talking about eating, but not a lot of promoting exercise.
That's right.
That's the first comment
Amen.
I had. Second comment I had was about exercise too. I work in a psychiatric facility, and what you're saying, it's so true that there's so much suicide. Like there's so many patients who are dying in hospital, from suicide, and exercise isn't something that's encouraged there. The idea is that the pill is the solution, and you'll find that they have boxes of pills that they have to take. And it's a really sad state to see that. But I just think that what you said, it hit home for me, because I see that every day.
I agree with you on this mental health thing, and I show the videos. Way back when, 1930-something, the frontal lobotomy. This is where the surgeon sticks a knitting needle up through your nose or your sinus or your eyeball and wags it and cuts off your frontal lobe. Now, I'm addressing what you said with this example. And that was very popular for a long time, frontal lobotomy. Also electric shock therapies. Those went out of vogue because when they applied the shock, people under the surge of the electricity would tense up and they'd break their bones. That's all history today. It's no longer a frontal lobotomy, it's a chemical lobotomy. But in those olden days, with straitjackets, with a straitjacket, you tell me a man's got to pee, he's violent in a straitjacket, how many attendants does it take to manage that man to go to the bathroom? Yeah, you give him a pill, no problem. I've been to a mental health facility, gonna meet with the patients, have some sharing time, and she brought out 100, first time it ever happened, Moccasin Bend mental health thing across from Wildwood Hospital, across Tennessee River, first time it ever happened. I called, we wanted to go over there and do some things, so I went. She said, okay, you ready for them to come in? I said, Jim, you ready for them to bring them in? I said, yeah, bring them in. She opened the door. This is what kind of prompted me to try to learn something about mental health. She opened the door. I expected to see a Chinese fire drill, you know. I expected to see a bunch of crazy. Wouldn't you? Open the door. 125 people came in. She said, now, please sit down. Boom. Didn't need any straitjackets. They did just what she said. When I finished, she said, now, please stand up. The Haldol stare, you know. Please stand up. And out they went. And I thought, I have never in my life. They marching like an army. Yeah. Can a pill turn a mass murderer into a pussycat? Yes. So yeah, I agree with you. The answer is, you got to get that guy working in the field. 3:16, 17, 18. Cursed is the ground for your sake. Adam got the rehabilitation plan that actually gave him some help. So tomorrow I invite you to come back. We're going to have a meeting at 6:30. Not going to be YouTube. 6:30, all the things I cannot fit in, I'm going to fit in 6:30 to 7 if you want to come. 7 o'clock, last meeting. Tomorrow morning, I'll ask you a question as I tell you what the meeting tomorrow morning is. Look, my mom had diabetes. My grandma had diabetes. My first cousin got diabetes. Will I have diabetes? Thank you. Right? Yeah. Don't you pass the buck, blame your mom, blame your friends, blame your circumstances. No, your choice. You're in the driver's seat. You are, as Esselstyn would say, you have the locus of control over your health and your destiny. That's what we're going to study tomorrow. That's what it's at, but that's the sermon. And then tomorrow night, last but not least, I'm not going to tell you. But 6:30, I'm going to do something on, you have natural law, you got supernatural law. How do you know when the devil walks in the door? Because what he's peddling is not natural, but supernatural law. So we look at the supernatural tomorrow night. It's a good one to end on. That way if somebody's riled up, you got to catch me before you can kill me. Dear Father in heaven, I'm thankful for my church friends to see the wisdom of heaven's plan when we apply it to the circumstances of the medical system today. Ooh, we see something that chiefest among 10,000. You're the one altogether lovely, and your plan is as lovely as you are. Please bless us as we seek to be fully informed, to be medical evangelists after the order of heaven. Give grace and wisdom, please, and bless this little church. I ask this in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, friends.